Imagine a world where kings ruled from gleaming palaces, where ships carried bronze, grain, and timber across the Mediterranean, and where massive cities hummed with trade, ritual, and record-keeping. Now imagine all of that unraveling, nearly simultaneously, across multiple civilizations. Between roughly 1315 and 1100 BC, the Eastern Mediterranean witnessed one of the most dramatic civilizational collapses in human history. The Mycenaean Greeks, the Hittite Empire, the wealthy port city of Ugarit, and other late Bronze Age powers vanished. This is the story of the Bronze Age collapse. The civilizations of this era were deeply interconnected. They relied on extensive trade networks, palace-centered economies, and shared diplomatic ties. Linear B tablets from Mycenae document the movement of goods across hundreds of miles. Ugarit's archives contain correspondence with both Hittite and Egyptian rulers. These weren't isolated cultures. They were part of a complex, thriving system. But by 1250 BC, signs of stress emerged. Drought gripped the region. Pollen records and sediment data reveal prolonged environmental decline, likely devastating agricultural output. As crops failed, hunger spread. Around this time, destruction layers begin to appear in the archaeological record. The Mycenaean palaces at Thebes, Pylos, and Mycenae were burned. The Hittite capital of Hattusa was abandoned. Ugarit, once a bustling coastal city, was destroyed violently. The written word fades from these societies as scripts like Linear B and Ugaritic disappear. Amid this chaos, a mysterious group emerges: the Sea Peoples. Egyptian inscriptions from the reigns of Ramesses II and III describe ferocious invasions by foreign forces arriving by land and sea. The reliefs at Medinet Habu show battles against these attackers. Warriors with feathered helmets, ox-drawn carts, and foreign weapons. Egypt barely survived. Others did not. But who were the Sea Peoples? Scholars have long debated whether they were displaced migrants, raiders, or a loose confederation of tribes responding to collapse elsewhere. There is no consensus. In fact, there is no single cause of the Bronze Age collapse. Instead, most researchers now believe in a perfect storm: prolonged drought, food insecurity, internal rebellions, earthquakes, invasions, and the disruptive spread of iron technology. Together, these stressors shattered the foundations of palace economies and trade-based societies. What followed was not immediate darkness, but a prolonged dimming. The Mycenaean Greeks lost their writing systems and retreated into small villages. The Hittite Empire ceased to exist. Once flourishing urban centers fell silent. This period, often labeled the Greek Dark Age, lasted for centuries. And yet, from the wreckage came transformation. Iron replaced bronze. New city-states and cultures rose. The Phoenicians expanded. The Israelites emerged in Canaan. Eventually, classical Greece would rise, but not before centuries of silence. The Bronze Age collapse remains one of the most studied mysteries in archaeology. It invites comparisons to other complex societal declines, like the fall of Rome or the Maya, and it reminds us how interconnected systems, however advanced, can fall to pressures both natural and human-made. When the palaces burned and the scribes stopped writing, an entire world shifted. What was lost may never be fully known, but its echoes are still felt today. If you liked what you watched, please like and subscribe. We post interesting and crazy stories from throughout history every Wednesday and Saturday. Yesterday's craziness, because yesterday was crazy too.